Hi there, welcome back to my channel, Healing with Kiara. So, we're doing a love reading today. My light is a little bright, but we have the Empress on the bottom and the King of Cups and the Nine of Swords. So, you or someone on your mind could really be feeling this energy. There's a lot of love and a lot of emotion, like a lot of passion already coming through. One of you could be very like loving, feminine, like more passive and not as open to kind of like express how you're feeling, whereas the other person could be more emotional and get like emotionally overwhelmed. So they try to present kind of like a stoic, calm, centered, like try to come from a really emotionally balanced place or take a lot of time to kind of think things out in order to make sure they're not getting, overly swept up or caught up in their emotions or making really rational decisions and choices. So it's almost like you don't know or realize how emotional they are. They try to keep that balance and again, not make those decisions from like an emotionally charged place, like stay above the depth. It's like they don't necessarily always go there, but this person is very deep or they do feel things very deeply. They could be very drawn towards you, or you could just be very drawn towards their energy. One of you is giving off a very like feminine. I'm getting like a very understanding energy, or they can see that like you've grown a lot from different things that you've had to go through. So there's like a heavy admiration. I also wanted to say we're looking into like the other person on your mind and you and how you guys connect and past, present, and future. And then there'll be an extended after where we'll use the Hermit Tarot message cards to get some messages from them and just get a deeper look into their overall energy, thoughts, and feelings for you at this time. With the viewer's energy towards the other person, the Seven of Pentacles already popped out. So when I'm shuffling and stuff like already flips over, I just may as well leave it. So the other person is showing up as the Strength in the reverse. So this person could be really struggling right now. Like they could be struggling to overcome some sort of personal issue. Like they're fighting their demons and they feel as though they're like weak, or they're struggling to feel as though they kind of have what it takes to overcome or persevere or like pull their weight in something that they're going through. They feel as though they're like lacking and they don't have enough, or they don't have the inner willpower or the inner strength to overcome their issues. Like they feel as though they're weak. So when a person's in this type of energy, a lot of times they can kind of fall back on their ego and like things that give them a false sense of self in order to feel validated or to feel better. It's like they feel very like less than or not capable. They could just be very triggered. Like they feel like their demons are getting the best of them at this time. And so they could feel as though they're like in a position where they're very vulnerable or like weak within themselves. So they are like a threat or a danger to others. Like they feel as though they're only going to like hurt others, um, cause others pain. I just keep seeing like how she has her hand so close to the lion's mouth and he's just like licking her so playfully, like they found a way to really work together beautifully. And so this person is like afraid that if others are vulnerable to them, or if they're vulnerable to others, like if they get into that position to where someone else is like close to them in such a way where they could hurt others, that they would like fall victim to that and end up hurting someone. Like they don't trust themselves or feel as though they have the like inner strength at this time to resist some sort of like temptation to like hurt another, because they feel like a lack or the sense of inadequacy, and so then to like hurt someone else or to take from someone else would then validate them for a minute, but then like in the long run they would feel really bad that they weren't able to like be stronger and make the more caring conscious choice in that moment. And so then it would only feed that like inner voice that's telling them they're never going to be able to overcome this, right? And their issues are always just going to hurt the people around them. So it's kind of like a cycle of self sabotage that I'm seeing, where they're just afraid that, like, energetically, if someone else were to have their hand near them, like trying to show them affection or caress them, that then they would like take that opportunity to bite them or hurt them. It would almost be like an impulse, like acting on an intrusive thought, because they have this like lack of self-worth or this inner story that they're telling themselves that they can't, again, like they can't overcome something, like they're fighting their demons and they feel like they're not winning, or they don't have what it takes to win, to make a change. So this is kind of like a sad energy that the other person is in. So this is just kind of like in general, they could be really isolating themselves. They could be like going through conflict or like ego struggles, like in their relationships in their life, and so it's triggering them to like isolate. It could be self-sabotaging, like it just their relationships, they don't know how to get out of this cycle, so they're just like isolating and keeping to themselves. Like they feel like it's easier to maybe just be alone at this time while they are so vulnerable. Like they just don't feel like it's safe for others to be around them, which again is just a very sad energy. I'm getting this like very powerful energy, um, from that side, just very like dominating energy, but there's like a heaviness. Um, so the viewer showed up as three cards here. So the Six of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I kind of see like a, I have like a dreamy energy over all the cards. Like there's just this very interesting, I don't know if that's going to translate, or if that's just how I'm reading, or yeah, I'm just seeing this very like dreamy mystical energy, which is kind of interesting. And also the Page of Cups. So the viewer, you could also be very much like struggling, um, I'm getting the energy of like the viewer is trying to move forward here. You could feel very left out at this time, like you feel like you're being kind of like abandoned or like kicked out, left out in the cold, or there's a lot of uncertainty as to where you're going, but you're trying to like move forward with confidence. You're trying to figure out how to navigate like a new environment with a lot of uncertainty around you. You also could be like in a position of lack where you feel like you don't have enough like resources, but you're trying to trust spirit and move forward anyways, and like make do with the like what you can, like make the best with what you have. um you're trying to learn from like a very adverse experience that you went through and move forward and find a way to like overcome this and like better yourself. um Trying to go with the flow and like um not get overly swept up in like what's happening or how things look right now, and trying to like go with the flow and continue to move forward and trust that you're going to be able to like rise above this and come out on top. So you could have like some support around you, like as far as people who like look up to you, um, or kind of like follow you in some way, but you don't have a lot of maybe monetary support or like physical support, or like maybe you're the type of person that doesn't have a lot of support from like your family. um, so you're kind of trying to like navigate things all on your own, or like make it all on your own in like a foreign environment. There's something to where there's kind of like a fear that you're not going to have enough, but you're trying to like boldly and confidently move forward and like move in the direction that you're being guided, and try to go with the flow and adapt to things even when they're really uncomfortable, and trust that it's going to work out. So you're also kind of going through a lot of adversity and struggle and uncertainty, but there's definitely a very different reaction from the viewer's side, to where your person, the other person here on your mind, gets more overwhelmed. There's like a heavier weight in their energy that is kind of like pushing them into this place where then they operate out of their ego. It's like this person over here doesn't have as many tools. It's such a more raw energy, whereas the viewer here is like I'm seeing just like this person who is able to really navigate adversity in their life. It's like you've done this before, so you kind of know how to pick yourself up and move forward and navigate through this again, and like work with spirit and allow things to come to you, while also making moves and changes to kind of like better your circumstance and your environment. There's kind of like a lot going on here. It's like this very complicated mix here, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and you're just trying to really make the best of it. You could feel as though like you have so much that you have to navigate and juggle, that you just have to like keep going forward and keep moving and keep doing that. It's like you don't, because this person, it's like these people have like their back turned, like moving forward, but then there's also a part of you that's like, well, maybe I should stay open emotionally. But there's definitely a part of you that feels as though like in order to take care of yourself and keep moving forward, you have to, is like you can't focus on this other person or give too much time and energy and attention to this. It's like you have to kind of go in your own direction and figure out a way to take care of yourself and like better the environment around yourself. It's like you don't have time to like look at what this person's doing and try and figure this out and like fight their demons for them. It's like you feel as though they have to find a way to like turn this energy around and either figure it out on their own or like meet you in the middle. So let's get more. So your energy towards the other person, the Three of Swords in the reverse and the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel as though like there's a part of you that feels like you need to move forward. Like at some point in the past, you were really hurt by this situation. Like something happened that really disappointed you, really hurt you. This other person was on some kind of energy that you weren't on. Like they did something or they brought something into the relationship in like an abrasive way. They let like their own issues create some sort of situation that then ultimately caused you a great deal of pain and heartache. So you felt as though you need to like focus on yourself, move forward, but then there's a part of you that also kind of wants to stay open emotionally, or is maybe like being patient and allowing the situation to heal, um, and is hopeful that this person could kind of work through their own issues and find a way to come towards you. So it's like you feel as though even though like you were really hurt, but the way that you chose to handle it, it's like you chose to rise above it and be the bigger person and like plant seeds in the situation and kind of like move forward and go in your own direction. And you're waiting for that to possibly blossom into like a new opportunity in the future to heal it. It's like leaving in such a way that there's potential to fix it in the future rather than trying to force it in that moment and creating so much hurt and damage that it's like irreparable, or there's no coming back from it. And this other person, their energy towards you, we have the Chariot. So I'm definitely seeing like there's a strong desire from this person. Like, even though they're trying to fight through their own issues, and there's this part of them that feels like it's not safe to let people in or to have people around them, they want to find a balance here and find a way to move forward towards you. And with the Five of Cups, it's like because of the way that you have handled the situation and just staying open, I'm seeing like you're open to this person coming in and like apologizing to you once they gain like clarity. So, because of the way that you chose to handle things and to just be really patient and wait for the situation to like grow and just kind of focus on yourself, it has created this space now where this other person can then come and meet you in the middle. And there's not like too much damage or too much water under the bridge that you could not come back from. It's like you put like a pause on things because it was becoming too emotionally overwhelming for you, and you didn't want it to step into a territory where it was like would just get so messy that then you would have such a negative view of that person, or vice versa. Like you would get so triggered that then they would see you differently, or like they would end up hurting you and then you would have a different image of them. Like on both sides, you were both really scared to like hurt the other, which is kind of cool. I'm seeing that energy, like it's kind of really overwhelmed this person to where they've went through a lot of like pain and struggle and almost like self-sabotage in their life. Like they've gotten very triggered, but it's a beautiful, like the overall energy I'm seeing is like you both met each other instantly, like really cared about the other, and then instantly didn't want to hurt the other person or get hurt by the other person. It's like being able to see each other, see that you're both navigating a lot of different things, working through things, figuring out how to heal. I feel like you both met at really chaotic times in your life where you were both going through really interesting transitions or trying to make the best of like your environment or the situation you were both in. And so you both mutually could see that and how to care for each other, like wanted to be supportive of each other, but then didn't want to hurt the other person or get hurt by the other person, like I said. So then it went into like this weird space. And so you chose to kind of like rise above it and just kind of move forward, move in your own direction, like focus on yourself and taking care of yourself while remaining open for the other person to grow and be able to come to where you are. So then you could be in this different space together rather than stuck in this chaotic energy where you would ultimately end up like getting hurt or hurting each other. So I'm hoping that that makes sense, and that that kind of resonates. So that makes sense with this energy I was getting from the King of Cups. It's like there's so much depth and so much emotion, there's so much care. Um, but it's like they don't want it to all spill over, or they don't want to make choices from this emotionally charged place. So there's been a lot of struggles that this person's had to work through individually, in order to make sure they're not repeating a negative pattern in their life of self-sabotaging, or they don't have any sort of like negative intentions, but they could be in a lot of like regret at this time, or just very much like thinking about the way that they went about certain things and did certain things here. And they are feeling like they kind of repeated a pattern in some way, like they were trying to protect themselves so much, then they repeated the pattern in a different way or something. It's like they see this build up and this pile up of all of these choices and decisions. So this is the weight I was referring to earlier. It's like this overwhelming sense of weight where they just think about like every time they did something wrong, and then it's like they don't have the energy to get past it, and so then they end up like doing something wrong again and like hurting someone again, or hurting you again, or like adding one more thing up here, um, weighing them down to validate this inner story that they're ultimately just going to hurt others. So they could be just so drawn to you. Again, before I was seeing this energy of like, they feel like you've really grown, like you've had to go through a lot of really difficult things in your life, and or you're going through, even maybe right now currently, a lot of just adversity and uncertainty, and they really admire the way that you're able to pick yourself up and the way that you carry yourself regardless of what is going on or what's happening. It's like you're the type of person that you can make the best of anything. Like you could be in the most difficult situation and still have like just the most silly, lighthearted, fun, charismatic like attitude about it. Just make the most difficult, like horrible circumstance still like a fun, enjoyable memories. You're able to just go with the flow and just adapt to things so easily. So it's this very magnetizing, feminine energy, and they feel like that would add so much to their life, and they could grow so much from having that energy around them. They're very drawn to this, but it scares them because they don't want to like be another thing to like hurt you or drag you down. They don't want to ultimately like bite you, right? Like the metaphor I was getting in the beginning. If you're there showing them love, they're scared they're going to take an opportunity to hurt you, and it's just going to add to the weight that they already feel of like regrets and past choices. They could be the type of person that like really beats themselves up for the mistakes that they've made and things that have went wrong in their life in the past. So there was definitely some sort of tower moment in the past that was like it was like some sort of divine intervention. So if you kind of like pulled away, I don't know why, I'm just kind of getting that energy. but something could have happened that caused you to finally like pull away and balance things out. Like you felt as though they weren't being fair, and so you kind of like cut it off and went in your own direction. If you did do this though, it's like it came as a complete shock to this person, but then at the same time it's like they felt as though they had no choice but to just like take it on the chin or accept it, because they knew they weren't being totally fair to you, right? Like they knew deep down their own issues were getting in the way of like them being able to properly give to you or connect with you. So they felt it was justified, even though part of them felt as though it like kind of came out of nowhere, like something really unexpected happened. I feel like they maybe did something unexpected which caused you to pull away, which was unexpected to them. But it was like the natural cause and effect, or like the natural reaction that was going to come from their original action. Something like that, where it was like a little bit of both of you, but then it caused you to be like, okay, I'm just going to take care of me and protect myself. And I keep getting this with this here. I just keep getting this energy of like rising above it, and just continuing to put yourself first and move forward. So you could have a lot of people in your life that look up to you and admire the way that you handle difficult things and like go through adversity. Like you just have this great way of um, again being able to go with the flow and navigate things and really just like make the best of it and not let things like get you down. You have this very silly, playful, youthful, like fun energy, like regardless of what's happening. So maybe a lot of people around you wouldn't even know like how much you're struggling, or like people almost like put you on a pedestal for the way that you carry yourself. And then the more they get to know you, they're so shocked of like your circumstances and what you're actually working with in your environment that you're in. It's like not as easy. Things aren't as easy for you as it looks. It's just that's just you. Like that's just your personality and the way that you handle and deal with things and navigate things. It just makes it look so easy and carefree, but it's actually quite difficult for you. Or you have to do a lot of work. You have to have a lot of inner strength and willpower and inner discipline, a lot of like self love, but it's a lot of really difficult choices emotionally that you have to make, a lot of strength that you and things that you have to carry, and choosing to be the bigger person, and um, a lot of patience of, and again like being able to see something beforehand and then like doing what you know is best for yourself, and then having the patience to be able to like see that through, in order to have like a better, healthier connection, is like a lot of really difficult choices that you've had to make throughout your life to navigate some really difficult things. But again, from the outside, it's like you give off this very like, it seems as though like things just naturally flow to you, like things are super easy for you, like people could see you, you could be like a very beautiful person, just give off like a very radiant magnetic energy, and so people see that and just assume like, everyone's just giving you whatever you want, and all of these things have just been so easy for you, whenever that's really not the case. Again, that's just you and your spirit within you, like the way that you choose to handle and navigate the pain and adversity that you have went through. It's like you choose to like turn things around and make the best of them, rather than letting the things that you're going through or certain things around you that you're not in control of like define you. You find a way to like overcome that and move forward in a way that inspires others in their life as well, regardless of the adversity that you have to go through sometimes. I'm seeing like you could be like moving forward and kind of just trying to do your best, and then like things will happen around you in your environment that you have like no control over, that you just kind of have to like adapt to and continue to make the best out of it and like learn and grow from it as much as you can. And so there's something to that. It's very magnetic, very it really draws people in and makes them be like, okay, how does this person do it, or how did they get through such hard things? Or people around you may see the pain you've had to go through, or like other people in your past who have hurt you or taken advantage of you, and they see how you've like turned that around or overcame that, rose above that, moved forward in your story regardless, use that as like motivation or fuel in order to move forward. It's just like a part of your story. It wasn't like the end for you. Whereas like other people see that and they're like, wow, that was like really difficult, really hard. Like, other people maybe trying to hurt you, sabotage you. Like you could have just went through like a lot of chaos around you where there was like stuff happening in your environment that was very hurtful to you that you didn't have any control over. And instead of like staying in that and like fighting that, you just chose to like go in your own direction, rise above it, heal, overcome. There's the energy of like you really just focus on yourself and pour into yourself. And so that's why you have this very like, it's a very feminine energy of regardless of like gender or whatever, just very like nurturing, self-care, like all the inner work that you've done shows. Even if it doesn't feel like it to you, like there's just this light and there's something that just really radiates out of you that kind of shows to other people just your energy. It like speaks for itself. And then the more that like people learn about you or know what you've had to walk through, it's like so inspiring. People are very led by you. Like yeah, you could be a big leader in your environment without even realizing it. A lot of people look up to you and grow from you without you even realizing it. So there's a purpose to like all of these really difficult things that you've had to go through and walk through and overcome. It's like someone like you who's kind of strong enough to handle these certain battles and overcome and move forward in such a way, then you can share your story with others and help them and inspire them to get through similar things in their life or difficult things in their life. And you maybe had that like at one time in your life, you had others that you looked up to as inspiration. So it may be hard for you to see uh, how much other people look to you in the same way now. Like you're in a completely different stage of your journey than you once were, of your, your life journey and your healing journey. And so that's why you had the knowledge, the intuition, the awareness in this situation to know what you needed to do to move forward and protect yourself, and to create that space or that gap, like I was saying, for this other person to be like triggered enough to finally realize they do have what it takes, like they are strong enough to where then now they're inspired to balance things out and fill that gap, right? Like in the past, I feel as though they just accepted, like if you chose to walk away or whatever happened, it's like they just accepted this because they felt as though it was justified, like they really hadn't been fair. But now they're being like triggered. um, Something about your patience or your energy has kind of triggered them to realize like you could turn the situation around, or there could be healing here, like you could start over fresh. It's like if they take this action to move forward and meet you in the middle, or come to you, like get on your level, if you will, like rise to the occasion, um, that you could have a chance to like turn things around and have a very positive connection, or to like help each other heal and grow. Like they want to get to that level to be able to support you as much as you could support them emotionally. So it may have taken them a while to want to be like in touch with their emotions or to be comfortable. with their emotions, to be able to be open and vulnerable. They had to learn how to like trust themselves. So it's not that you abandoned them, but in some way, maybe you did. Whatever tower moment happened where you kind of like walked away or went in your own direction, like I was saying, not only did it preserve the ability to connect in the future, but it also like was what they needed to like again trigger them or inspire them to realize that they are strong enough and that they need to take the initiative, um, and start moving their life forward, like make things right, create a sense of balance, but then also find a way to move towards you and come towards you. Yeah, they have this sense of optimism. It's like this glass half full mentality of like, well, we could, nothing too crazy has happened, or like, yeah, there's no irreparable damage. Nothing has happened that you couldn't come back from, right? Or like kind of turn things around and get the connection going in a more positive direction. There's still like that hope and that opportunity. So I'm seeing the other person very inspired to take this initiative to like come towards you and meet you where you're at, or they feel as though they have to be the one to take the accountability now, or they have to balance things out. Like whatever you've done now in the past was very justified, and it's like on them to create that balance moving forward and be the ones to come towards you. So with the present, that's the past. So the present energy with temperance says literally exactly everything I was just saying. They're trying to create that inner sense of balance, find that like inner sense of peace, right? To just feel like more well balanced, to feel as though they're safe to connect with another person and to actually come towards you and take that initiative. So that's what they could be working on right now. It's like making sure their intentions, um, are good and that they're like fluid, smooth, put together. They're not like all over the place. Um, so I just saw this image of like, say they've been crying, like they've been very like hurt and emotionally triggered, and like in a place where they've been really emotional and like crying a lot the past few days. They didn't want to come towards you when they felt like that. They wanted to wait until they felt more centered, and their emotions were more balanced. They have more control over themselves and their emotions in order to be able to come towards you and approach you. So they're not making a decision from like emotionally charged, emotionally overwhelmed place, right? So there is, some maturity in, the method to their madness of like some bit of time with this here. Like you've had to be very patient, in order for them to like have these realizations and to come towards you again. So in the interim, they've just been trying to find that emotional balance, and so they know that they really are making the right choice for them, and that they're going to be an emotionally safe person to be around, and they're not going to like spill out, their issues aren't going to spill out onto you and affect you, affect your energy, hurt you in some way. So they are planning on coming towards you. The future energy, the Knight of Cups, they do plan on coming towards you and making some sort of emotional offer, opening their heart to you in some way. So, again, I really feel like, they've just been taking their time with this in order to make sure they're in a really settled place emotionally, like everything I was saying in the beginning, they don't want to make choices and decisions when they're really overly emotional or in a super emotionally charged space. And so they're trying to create that balance for themselves. So it's like come towards you, but in a way that balances both both sides of them and everything that they're going through. And once they have that sense of harmony within themselves, that they don't feel like they're going to disrupt you in a negative way, then they want to approach you, open up to you, offer you like their heart, right? Open up to you emotionally, be more vulnerable, like actually give you something solid, some sort of offer, opportunity, with something that's going to be real and like have substance and depth and not be like confusing. A genuine offer or opportunity to move forward, for you to kind of like take their cup and meet them, let allow them to meet you in the middle. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing for the future energy. So now we're going to go into the extended, where we'll take a deeper look into the other person, where they're at, what they're doing on an energetic level, their energy towards you, their thoughts and their feelings, and some messages from the Hermit Tarot message cards. So, yeah, if you watch this far into the reading, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a really great day.